Alright guys, so today we have a big leak regarding the PlayStation 5 and just a lot of information coming from Sony themselves regarding what we can expect going into the next generation with the PS5. And yeah, I know it can be annoying because it seems like we're getting a new leak every week or every other week or something, and we can never really know, like, is this legit or is this just somebody making something up looking for attention? But this time I can confidently say this is 100% legit. This is coming from an investors meeting within Sony, a privately held one where I'm sure they were expecting things to leak out. So it's hard to say if this is really a leak or maybe a controlled leak or an expected leak. We got the first video of a direct comparison between the PS4 Pro and the, as they call it, next generation PlayStation, obviously the PlayStation 5, with Spider-Man PS4 and its load times and its capabilities and its performance. And so I'm not going to be able to put this video up for copyright reasons, just in case Sony really didn't want this to come out. I don't want them to come after me, but I will try to see if I can put up a screenshot. I will link something down below where you can go check out the video for yourself. But it's very interesting. It sounds like it's the exact video we heard about when Mark Cerny was revealing the soft specs of the PS5 a month or two ago at this point. And they used Spider-Man PS4 and they showed just how much, the PlayStation 5 can cut down on load times. And something else they showed with this was kind of traversing the city like really quickly, and showing how when they did it with the PS4 Pro, it kept freezing and having hiccups and stuttering, and it just had to keep stopping and then going forward. When they showed it with the PS5, though, it was just seamlessly all the way through. It was very impressive, and we do need to keep in mind that this is utilizing a next-gen game, or a current generation game, current generation tech. This is not a PS5 game. This is Spider-Man PS4, but it is really interesting to see just what the PS5 can do with current gen games, right? And I'm sure it's going to translate to it also doing great things for next generation games. But some other really interesting information that came out of this that I want to talk about is, well, first of all, the person who leaked this, he is a apparently known insider, and then his name is Takahashi Makazuki. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Apologies if I'm not. And the first thing he tweeted out is Sony's official video comparing performance of PS4 Pro versus next-gen PlayStation. That's what we were just talking about. But he goes on to tweet a few other things, and he kind of translates what the presentators, what they were talking about. So one of the tweets said, Sony CEO, to ensure PlayStation will remain as the best place to play, SIE to work on keeping and improving relationships with outside game developers. And then after that, he tweets, Sony, in explaining PlayStation's seamless feature, the company used the phrase anytime, anywhere without disconnections. Now that last one is particularly interesting because it seems clearly Sony is talking about cloud gaming there. But there was other things that they talked about as well, some other significant pieces of information that are certainly worth going over. They did reaffirm that the PS4 is going to play a huge role in PlayStation's business going forward, even into the next generation. And I think that this is important to pay attention to because it just goes to show that I don't think Sony is planning to go into the next generation of consoles without the PS4 being a very important, factor here. They know that that not everybody's going to want to upgrade day one to the PS5, and they also know that a lot of people are not upgraded, believe it or not, to the PS4. And once the PlayStation 5 comes out, the price of the PS4 is going to drop even lower. More people are going to be incentivized to buy it then. And they did reaffirm that games that we're anticipating, such as The Last of Us Part 2, Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, will be PS4 titles. Of course, we can expect them to come to the PS5, but they are going to be released on the PlayStation 4. I've seen a lot of people who seem to get concerned that because they're taking so long and we're getting so close to the next generation that Sony's not going to release these games on the PS4. Make no mistake about it, these games will be on the PS4 day one. So if you're worried about it because you're not going to be able to upgrade to the PS5 day one, even if these games are announced for the PS5, they will be there on the PS4. So don't worry about that. But it's interesting that Sony plans to continue to sell PS4s and to help that make a profit for them, obviously. And so I think we can expect the PS4 to get a significant amount of support going into next generation, as well as, them ensuring that anybody who's still playing there is going to have a great experience doing so. But of course, they're going to want to offer a lot of reasons why these people are going to want to look at the next generation console, to look at the PS5, and to upgrade to the PS5. So a lot of interesting information so far, but there's one other thing in particular that I want to focus on here that we're going to talk about. So let's read a little bit. It says, Today is a big day for the PS5. Not only has Sony revealed gameplay footage of the next-gen console running Spider-Man PS4, showing off the non-existent loading times of the new system, but a new report found on the PlayStation website reveals more tantalizing details about what to expect from the upcoming hardware. The report is a series of slides that were presented by Sony CEO Jim Ryan at an investors conference this week, and focuses on the company's long and short-term future when it comes to the PlayStation ecosystem. Most notably, Ryan's presentation confirms that streaming will sit hand-in-hand with physical discs and digital downloads as a way for PS5 owners to experience their games, outlining a vision for a massively enhanced PlayStation community where enriched and shared PlayStation experiences can be seamlessly enjoyed independent of time and place with or without a console. So it goes on to say, interestingly enough, Sony and Microsoft recently announced an unprecedented new partnership to develop advanced streaming and cloud technology together, and a recently accepted patent seems to indicate streaming is in Sony's plans too, and the report states that the company plans to leverage these new partnerships to achieve growth and scale faster than ever before. PS5 backwards compatibility has also been reconfirmed by this report, which says that Sony will leverage this new feature to transition our community to next-gen faster and more seamlessly than ever before. Not only that, but Ryan himself said during the presentation that PS5 players and PS4 players will be able to enjoy games together with cross-generational support. That's honestly great to hear. It's good to hear that PS4 and PS5 players will be able to play together. I think this was kind of assumed, but it's nice to get that confirmation, which is great for those who won't be able to invest in a new console until later on in the lifespan. All in all, Sony's new hardware is looking primed and ready to blow everything out of the water when it releases sometime after May 2020. But remember that Microsoft has yet to say anything too revealing about its Xbox Project Scarlet. Perhaps we can expect big things from Phil Spencer and the team at E3 2019 this year. So a lot of significant and very interesting information there. And of course, I think that this, frankly, is getting some people concerned because they're thinking, it seems that Sony really is going to be investing in the cloud in a much more significant way than maybe we were expecting. While Microsoft has been very open about letting us know that, they're investing heavily in cloud, in xCloud and game streaming, and they think it's the future of gaming and it's going to be a big part. Sony hasn't been so vocal about it. So a lot of us, including myself, have assumed that, okay, maybe this is something they're not really going to pursue. They're just going to kind of wait and see. But no, it seems that they're not going to take that chance. As a business, I can't blame them for this, because if this is the future, you have all these other massive tech companies getting involved. Sony doesn't have the infrastructure, so they partner with Microsoft to make sure they have that infrastructure to take advantage of when it comes to PlayStation. So, they can't just sit around and wait until it's too late. I can understand that, but here's the thing that I think is important about cloud gaming that a lot of people don't seem to understand. There's a lot of people who immediately jump to the conclusion that this is the best way to play games for some reason, even though it's not proven yet. I think more people are, when I say more people, most people who believe in cloud gaming have this idea that it is the future of gaming. Maybe it is. I don't think it's anybody's place to sit here and try to say for sure what is and what isn't, because there's been a lot of people who thought for sure something was going to go down a certain way, and it just doesn't, right? Or it takes way longer than anybody expected. Cloud gaming could be one of those things. The most important thing I can say about this is we are going to be the one to determine whether or not cloud gaming is successful. The thing that's important to pay attention to here with PlayStation getting involved in this is PlayStation knows its audience, it knows its market, and it knows the importance, and this is, I need to stress this part, it knows the importance of the console user base, because PlayStation is pretty much keeping Sony as a company very profitable, and it's keeping them afloat, right, in a big way, where it's just their bread and butter, and they know that PlayStation and the PlayStation console, the two go hand in hand. Obviously, the games are what matter over anything. Regardless of anything else, the games are what matter. But let's be real here. PlayStation is known as a console, right? It's known as a console you buy to access those games. Sony's not going to be giving that up, at least not in a significant way. At least I don't see them doing so. Maybe I could be wrong. You know, we can't understate here or downplay the significance of Jim Ryan, you know, stressing that they want PlayStation gamers. Similarly, you know, just what we heard with Microsoft, they want them to be able to access their library of games anywhere on any device at any time. And, you know, this gets me a little bit nervous, I'm not going to lie to you guys, because I'm not for cloud gaming. Like, I'm just not. That's not how I want to enjoy games. People think that I'm so against it that I don't want it to be an option. No, don't get me wrong. I think it's great as an option, and I think that this is how Sony's going to leverage it as an option, because there's no way, in no realm, unless I did slip into a parallel universe, would Sony decide that it would be a smarter idea to market their cloud gaming over marketing their console, like to push it harder than their console. I could see Microsoft maybe doing that because they're a cloud company. Sony's a hardware company. They're not going to do that. So I think Sony will, you know, proceed cautiously. And we have to understand that when Jim Ryan's talking here, he is talking about the long-term future. He's not just talking about, like, the second they announce the PS5, they're going to be like, hey, if you don't want to buy the PS5, you can play our games through the cloud. Maybe they will do that. I think that would be a huge mistake if they did that. But something tells me they're not going to. But I think this comes as a little bit of a surprise, guys. I'm not going to lie. It is surprising to hear just how much, based off of what we read here, Sony's planning on doubling down in cloud gaming. And, you know, again, it doesn't get me excited because I think it'll be nice as an option. I just don't want to see it get to a point where it takes over, you know, because then we have to be concerned. Then hardware is going to start to become irrelevant. Then ownership is going to start to become a thing of the past. And we're going to start getting a more casual market flooding in to this space that we love, where we feel like we're like somewhat hardcore, right? Like we're the enthusiasts. We care about this stuff. And that all that stuff's going to take a back seat. But I think as long as we show our support, and this is where it comes in, where I said we're going to determine the success of this. We determine the success of Sony based off of, you know, PlayStation and their reliance on it. Microsoft, they have a lot of other things to fall back on. If the Xbox audience doesn't support them, or they lose a lot of people that were part of the Xbox audience, they're a multi-billion-dollar company that has their hand in a lot of different areas when it comes to the business world, the tech world, and the enterprise world. So they don't have to worry about it. That's, I think, the big differentiating factor. Is this PlayStation is Sony's, for lack of a better term, lifeline. Xbox is not Microsoft's lifeline. And so this is where I think Sony will have to be very careful how they tread forward and understand that there's a certain audience that makes up the profit that they're seeing right now, and they just need to make sure that no matter what, they don't make that audience take a back seat. Again, I don't think they will be. I don't mean to be so pessimistic here, but we have to be real. We have to have real discussions and real conversations and unpack all of this information. But either way, very exciting stuff. Be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comments below. I will be very interested to see what you guys have to say. What do you think about this first official video comparison of the PS5 versus the PS4 Pro? What do you think about this information regarding Sony's continued support for the PS4 going into the next generation? And what do you think about their, them wanting to really get involved in cloud gaming? I will be very interested to see what you guys have to say about that. Leave the video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the bell notification icon and feel free to share the video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.